And we appreciate Shannon making the all to help fill the blank. But if we're looking at July, and if we're looking at the fourth Thursday, that would be the 24th.
Right.
So that's what we will anticipate unless people say that they've got conflicts. That's what we anticipate.
All right, so move to adjourn the IDA meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you. And then we can turn to the CRC, which I will call to order. And we need to approve minutes from March, which are attached here.
Motion to approve minutes.
Okay, moved by Steve, second by Russ, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye, approved, carried. Okay. Financials.
Yeah, we've got a balance sheet showing a checking account balance $784,087. The vast majority of that coming from the Colgate bond financing deal. We're holding CDs, money market, giving us total current assets $2,077,420. And on the liability side, we have funds designated for the Greater Morrisville community. Some retained earnings, net income, our total liabilities and equity equal our assets.
So that deposit from the bond closure went into the checking account.
That is correct. It was $767,900.
Yep. Healthy balance. Okay.
If there aren't any questions, if we entertain a motion to approve the financials.
By Russ.
Second.
And there's Steve. Any other questions? Oh, move to approve, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, carried. Thank you.
Committee notes for the committee notes, but the only new request that we have, it's listed on the agenda as Colgate University request. It's actually coming from Joanne Borfitz. Do we have the letter, Amanda? Is it a separate
It should
handout?
be Schedule A or whatever.
Thank you. There is a resolution, and the attachment, the last 2 pages, is a letter coming from Joanne Borfitz from Colgate University Government Liaison. And essentially, they are looking for the opportunity to help build out some of the space on the ground floor of the building. Specifically, there's plans for a pop-up business space, which the hub was able to host in the past, and they are anticipating that being part of the Kendrick development. There is also an interest from, I think it's okay to say out loud, Ray Brothers Barbecue for a high-end meat market, and they'll also offer some sandwiches and other types of food items on the spot. And then there is also a restaurant space. The fact of the matter is the build-out, according to this letter, is a little over $1.1 million. And they are asking if, because our agency, the CRC, has historically been known to, though it's not a firm precedent, to share up to 40% of our fee on projects related to Colgate bond financing. We've done it in other communities. They are requesting that full 40% to a figure of $306,000. There's no doubt that of all of the downtown initiatives throughout Madison County, that this $30 million capital investment, which includes residential, retail, business incubator space, some office space, a very nice outdoor courtyard that will have space for restaurant dining, live music. And this is really, I toured it just last week with the facilities manager, the future manager of the property, Joanne Gorfitz, and Jocelyn Gabbard from PCD. It's really coming together. The construction has gone up very quickly. It's going to be a top-notch it's going to blend in seamlessly with the other downtown architecture. They're doing it the right way. I think the request is reasonable. It's being supported by the village and the town. If you want a recommendation from the CRC management, we definitely are in favor of this. We'd love to see more downtown redevelopment investments like this elsewhere in the county.
So one question I would have is this going to the Hamilton initiative?
The request, yeah, and that's clarification, Russ, thank you.
They say that any place in the letter doesn't come from the Hamilton initiative. Joanne's.
In reviewing the resolution, I thought there was reference, and I specifically sent out an email to Joanne, who answered it, even though I got a bounce response from her, that the money should be going to the nonprofit Hamilton Initiative as the formal request. As you can see throughout the resolution, the PCD is mentioned along with the village and the town. But yes, the Hamilton Initiative will be holding the asset. I anticipate that it will be on the tax rolls as the Hamilton Initiative is done on other properties in downtown and elsewhere.
So there's the fifth paragraph on the second page. It's to be undertaken by an affiliate of Colgate. I'm assuming that would be the appropriate place to put in the Hamilton Initiative.
Yes.
Rather than an affiliate of Colgate. You see that?
Be undertaken by the Hamilton Initiative.
Is there any other place that mentions that? Is that the only place in here that it says who the money is going to?
We can make it the more correction as we did with the ID resolution and just replace affiliate of Colgate with the Hamilton initiative, just to make it more clear.
Yeah, I think we can improve it, so long as it's understood that it's adapted or changed in some way to make sure it goes to Hamilton initiative.
That's why I wanted to get the clarification. Is this going to the PCD? Is this going to the village? Is this going to Colgate? Or is it going to the Hamilton Initiative? And the Hamilton Initiative was clearly the designation.
So that might be a second correction on page 3, in section 3.
Mm-hmm, I see that.
Yeah, where it should,
Designate like Colgate and agreed upon by issuer, is that part there, who's there?
It's going to the Hamilton
Okay,
project.
Questions
the
and Brock,
Hamilton
yep.
project. I would say to the Hamilton Initiative.
Yes.
So just change that word, project to initiative.
Well, the project is what's being undertaken, but we can replace section 3C where it says enter into various documents, including but not limited to an economic development service agreement by between the issuer and the Hamilton Initiative instead of Colgate.
Yeah. Okay, very fine. Okay.
There's another not-for-profit, right, the ones that can do Hamilton housing or something or other. Yeah, I don't, so how they get the money, how the initiative gets the money in the project really is not to us.
Right.
We're just doing the money to the Hamilton initiative that they use in that project.
Similar to the PCD loan. Yep.
To get the letter from Joanne, so that she can comment on.
Colgate letterhead.
I don't think so.
I think as a government liaison, she had asked me for a review of it.
I don't know.
I asked her to offer it to the chairperson and also to
She did
reference.
say on behalf of the Hamilton initiative. All right.
Okay. Any other comments, discussion? you have a motion to approve this resolution as amended or as clarified? Correct.
I will make that motion.
One second.
Okay, great, thanks.
Roll call.
Yeah,
Potter? Yep. Selka?
Aye.
Laura?
Yes.
Moran?
yeah,
Motion carried, thank you.
okay.
No other business, and if we do have, our future meeting, it could be scheduled on the same July date as the IBA.
Okay,
At this time, I don't anticipate new business.
so I'll move to adjourn. Okay, second carry. Okay, good. Finally, GFC. Order approval of minutes also from March 27th. Attached here.
Approve the minutes.
Second.
Moved and seconded, comments, questions? Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Okay. And yes.
We've got, simply put, our assets, include some CDs and cash. Our total assets equal our equity, which is our fund balance, both unrestricted and our net income, which is earned from the CDs, both equal $350,753.61. We do have a loan committed to PCD to facilitate their grants from ESD and from the New York Forward, which should not go out for more than 30 months at an interest rate of 2%. We do have also on our agenda a potential loan request also, but first I'd like to get an approval on the financials.
Do we have a motion to approve the financials as presented? Moved by John, second by Steve, okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Carried, thank you.
So similar to the last loan request, it's kind of a community development type of request and not necessarily a credit review. Part of your handouts there are a letter from the Partnership for Community Development. Essentially, the town of Hamilton applied for a Restore New York grant to redevelop 6 homes. In some cases, it's the improvements to existing structures. In some cases, including this request, the 2 gentlemen that are partners on the Poolville Country Store and Restaurant is to demolish, which they've actually done the demolition. And they plan to bring in modular homes for that site, and they're doing the site prep now. I think they're within a few weeks of ordering the homes. What they're asking of us is to extend a loan to them so that they can place the order, place the home on the pad, sell that property, and request reimbursement once there's a C of O from the town on that property. This was one in which New York State kind of went out on a limb and said, wow, this is 6 different properties, and we think that it's a very good plan. It's going to help the housing stock. For those of you that are familiar with Poolville, it's a small little quaint village.
Yeah, how does, that modular used to be a flag for like, you know, not less than aesthetically pleasing or a type of housing.
That's no longer the case.
Yeah,
This is
no.
not a mobile home situation.
Right, yeah, because I know Poolville's got, like you said, it's quaint and they've got their style and, I think those homes will probably blend in. Hopefully. Yeah.
I'm sure they will. This is highly encouraged by the town of Hamilton and it is being supported by the PCD. There is a narrative, the second handout from Roger and Charles on what their intentions are. I would recommend that we limit this to a $100,000 maximum loan, should you consider it. The interest rate, we typically charge prime plus 1 on the PCD project. They requested a 2% loan. And that was what was ultimately approved by this board. We would require personal guarantees, and we'd like to also see it contingent upon approval from Madison County's revolving loan fund and also the Central New York Regional Planning and Development Loan Fund, which again are also playing a role in the PCD's build out of the hub at Kendrick.
So this is the IDA loan fund.
The GFC loan fund, a subsidiary of the IDA.
You know who these are schools. Yep. Yeah.
One question is,
360 is being requested. We would, I think, max out at $100,000, and if all three loan funds, they would be able to max out at $300,000.
three active, ours had two yet, approval of the other two.
We could make it that way.
Should we?
What?
He was asking if we should, if we were to approve it, should it be contingent upon getting approval from the other two funds? That's our prerogative.
Yeah.
But obviously, that's going to help make the project work. There's still going to be a shortfall, and maybe they'll go back to their lenders to make up for that shortfall. But again, their ultimate plan, they've held on to these properties based on their narrative for nearly a decade. Their intended use never came into play. So it's their hope, and I think this is really a community-minded decision in which they are investing in the redevelopment of these properties with the idea of settlement. No doubt that the Hamilton community, Colgate University, and other major employers would love additional housing stock for their employees.
Properties right next to their business.
And might have included a site plan that showed it. They're just a few doors down from one another. That's not
I didn't see it,
exactly.
I don't know.
It's a Coolville country store.
Yeah.
Well, we have the money,
And I think that's been, at least my discussions with Scott and Meyer Planning Department.
yeah.
A lot of this money is sitting idle, and we could be doing some things to encourage development. This grant facilitation seems to be a need in the community. And when we see the Hamilton, the Canastota, the Chittenango, the Oneida projects, I have been forewarning this board that our loan fund might come into play. These aren't projects directly related to that necessarily, at least not this project, but I think the grant facilitation is a clear need in this case.
Yeah, I'm thinking favorably about this.
My recommendation would be not to exceed 30 months at an interest rate of 4%. And we can defer payments and interest until the note is due, similar to the PCD note. Contingent upon approval from the other two lending agencies.
They will go before the planning board and
Planning committee.
committee.
I've asked Scott to put that on the agenda.
Do they actually appear?
No, they do not.
There's no business loan committee?
There is a committee, and that recommendation goes to the planning committee.
Will they appear before that committee?
I don't know yet, to be determined. Typically, when it comes to the planning committee and the board of supervisors approvals, they are going on the recommendation of the committee, who really has the eyes on the applicants. But this is, again, less of a credit analysis and more of a community development type project. A little outside of our wheelhouse, but I think it's a good project to support.
Any other comments? So we don't have a resolution on this. Do you want to just have a motion?
I talked with Chris about it. I said we can discuss it in the terms and we can paper something up after the fact. And Chris said that should be fine. I think that's how we did it before. I don't think we had a resolution for the PCD loan request.
Okay. Do you have any?
If you would like to chime in.
Please.
So these guys are customers of our bank. I am not the lender. Another person handles the loans. Any income I derive doesn't come from these guys. The bonus I get annually is based on my personal loan production, which these guys wouldn't be part of. Some portion of my bonus comes from the overall bank loan portfolio, which is $10 billion. So this would be minimal of everything. So Yes, I would say, I don't think I have a conflict of interest, and we reviewed it with Chris, and he felt the same. So, for the
Just-
record, I will vote.
But full transparency, and
Yeah.
we recognize it as not being a conflict.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so who'd like to make the motion that we proceed?
I will.
Okay.
Russ?
And
No, second.
Johnson, Sullivan, second. Roll call.
Potter?
Aye.
Solka?
Aye.
Laura?
Aye.
Moran?
Yeah.
Motion carried, thank you.
Interesting stuff. Okay, other business? Next meeting, maybe in July,
To be determined.
TBD. Okay.
I'll also just add, in one of the questions that I had of the applicant and of the town, if some of the other projects associated with the Restore New York grant do not come to fruition, they are able to, on a case-by-case, a house-by-house basis, submit for reimbursement for Empire State Development. So that's another piece of assurance that I want. So,
Good. Motion to adjourn, 4:15. All right. Excellent.
thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Yeah.
A lot of ground covered. Interesting. We offline?